Is the newly released Air Jordan 37 worth $185? That's a lot of money. I'd say maybe. Let's check it out.
Crispy, yeah, that boy crispy. Head to toe, I'm gleaming, yeah, I know they can't miss me. See a boy a mile away, my kicks is really hitting. Looking like that meme, then them boys really spitting. I just put a ISO logo on a damn sweater vest. I got little money, watching power, give us our respect. Damn, I be so fresh, and them boys be so clean too. Had them looking mad hard, damn, I didn't mean to, yeah. Fresh Air Force Ones, then them things crispy.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be checking out the newest addition to Michael Jordan's signature line, the Air Jordan 37. But before I break these down for performance and look at like the cushioning, the traction, support, just different stuff like that, we'll go ahead and touch on some of the basic info first. So these did keep the same retail price as last year's model, retailing for $185. That is a little bit on the pricey side, but I mean, we're 37 shoes deep in this thing, so $185 isn't really all that bad in my opinion. Then as for the box, that's actually pretty cool on these. Like it kind of opens up from the middle, like almost looks like a briefcase or something, and I just haven't really seen anything like it. But as for the appearance on these shoes, Jordan Brand definitely switched it up. And the biggest change was them finally making the decision to remove that eclipse plate. That was just like that see-through portion on the midsole. You can actually see it on the Air Jordan 36 that I have right here. Like this is just where you had that little pocket to see through the shoe, was that eclipse plate. And I mean, they had been using that on the last few models. I want to say like, you know, dating all the way back to the Air Jordan 34. And for like from the moment that they first threw that on his line, like I immediately loved it. So I was a little bit sad to see that go. And I'm not gonna lie, like I don't really love, you know, these Air Jordan 37 shoes just as far as the look goes. I mean, they kind of remind me of like wearing a boot whenever you have them on, or even just looking at them. And it's not all that bad. Maybe some other colorways will help change my mind, but of the early few that I've seen, like these are just eh. But I mean, I guess on the upper, the Air Jordan 37 is kind of supposed to be a throwback to the exoskeleton of the Air Jordan 7. So that is pretty cool how they keep like, you know, trying to bring it back, just like incorporated a previous model 20 years later. But really quick, I'll just go ahead and draw out a few different spots on this shoe before we move on. The upper is going to have these little patches that are going to be transparent. And I actually mentioned this in my first impressions video. I'm just not really a huge fan of that because like, then it almost matters what socks you're wearing because like the shoe is going to be see-through. So like for a small example, if anyone wears those Nike socks out there that have the dry fit labeling on the toe, you're literally going to be able to see that text in the toe box. So it's a cool touch and it definitely helps with keeping these shoes on the lighter side for weight. I just don't like really love it for the optics. But on the heel for these, you're going to see a Jumpman logo with MJ's signature underneath. And then the tongue is going to be another spot that you'll see the Jumpman logo. And this tongue is actually like almost the exact same from the Zion 1 where it kind of like flares out around the edges. It has like the same feel, like the same exact like material and shape and all of that stuff. And honestly, it would be kind of cool if brands like, you know, came together to pull different pieces from signature athletes and just like, you know, make one shoe out of it. Like a Jordan shoe that has different parts of Westbrook, Chris Paul, Luka. We just got the Lukas in, like just different lines like that morphed into one shoe. All right, now I'm getting way off track, but there's nothing else to talk about for the appearance. So now we'll go and let's see how these shoes hold up on the court. So now checking out the materials and the performance side and starting off with the cushioning. Before I talk about how they feel, I'll just kind of give you the cut and dry cushioning layout first. So the Air Jordan 37 is going to get a double stacked air unit in the forefoot that gives you energy returning responsiveness that allows you to start and stop on a dime. And you're also going to have some Formula 23, which is just Jordan's signature foam, and that's going to be stacked in the heel so you can come down as hard as necessary without aftershocks and be able to bounce right back. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this, or at least let's talk about what I felt for the cushioning. So that double stacked unit in the front, or like in the forefoot, that might be generous because it might be triple or quadruple stacked. Like I've started playing in more shoes where they load the forefoot up, like the Kyrie 8s, the Zion 2s, Cosmic Unity 2s, even the Air Jordan 36. They had a similar cushioning setup last year, but it is definitely more noticeable that you get that rise in the forefoot on this Jordan 37 model. But I guess comparing these two last year's shoe, if you guys have played in the Air Jordan 36, I mean, this is what I would say. Like the cushioning under your foot as a whole is going to be a little bit more stiff in this year's model. Like that initial feeling won't be quite as soft, but the forefoot does have more spring from what I felt. Like you can feel that unit just going to work on all of your jumps. It compresses and just gives you back really nice energy return on all of your movements. That being said, I do know like the product details, they talk a little bit about the foam in the heel. I haven't really felt that as much back there. Like the Jordan 36 does feel more padded in the heel than what the Jordan 37 model does. But I mean, that's just because like the Jordan 37 as a whole doesn't give you that memory foam like sensation whenever you're putting these on. Like they are going to be a little bit more responsive than soft. So I mean, if you do like that, definitely go with these. Like you're going to be playing in a shoe that's going to like likely to loosen up. Like I've been playing in them more to kind of test that out, kind of see how that goes. But so far, I don't really have anything bad to say. But using our durometer to check out the midsole, these were reading at a 42.5. 35. That is a few notches above the average. So for anyone that's looking for, basically for anyone looking for a more explosive shoe, especially in the forefoot, these would definitely fit that role. But if you do prefer something more balanced, I'd probably stay away from these. So now looking at the materials and the support, we do see a few differences and some similarities in this section just compared to what was being used in the Jordan 36 last year. So the Jordan 37 has a strong and lightweight upper that is designed to mimic the support given by a taped up ankle. I think that's a pretty unique idea. It's kind of cool. And the materials are made up from layers of lino weave fabric and a strong plastic ribbon that is supposed to hold you tight without weighing you down. And that's kind of just like the description that you can see from Nike's product details on this shoe. And that lino weave has been like showing up in a few other shoe lines, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure LeBron might have used that before, and I know it's been in Jordan's own line before, so there's really no shock there. And as a whole, like, Jordan shoes, they have been getting lighter. Like, I've noticed that these are going to be a little bit heavier than what was used in last year's model. Like, a size 10.5 is still only going to weigh 430 grams for this Jordan 37 though. It's a little bit over the average weight for like basketball shoes that I've played in, but it's definitely not bad, especially for like, you know, more of a mid to high top shoe. And like the details were saying, the upper on these is going to be super thin. Like, I mean, it's even transparent in some of those sections like we mentioned in the appearance, but I mean, the support is still going to be solid. And I was a little bit shaky on that whenever I was doing my first impressions video, at least. But that lino weave material, I mean, it's going to be layered, so it doesn't allow your foot to you know, move around more than it should. And with all of those holes in the upper, the airflow is obviously going to be great for your foot. You have a really nice heel counter on this model, maybe a little small outrigger in the forefoot to give you some better balance to work with too. So honestly, I have nothing bad to say about the materials or the support for this Jordan 37 model. It feels nice. Wrapping it up with the traction, the last few models in Michael Jordan's line have been really solid, like ever since I've been playing in them. I think I started like back around the Jordan 34 or something like that, and the traction's just been really good on all of his shoes. And these are going to have more of a random pattern than what was used in the Jordan 36 last year. And this is probably the section that I'm like, you know, the most unimpressed by, or more so just like disappointed. Dang, both of those sound really bad. That's not exactly the word I'm looking for, but these did take a step in the wrong direction from what I felt. Like, the bite was definitely there on the last few models that I've been playing in. It's just not there quite as much on these. Like, whenever we were doing our squeak test, you won't really hear much going on. And of course, that doesn't always mean the grip is going to be bad. Like, some shoes just use more foam, like the Curry 9s or like some Puma shoes. They just don't make as much noise on the court. But the Jordan 37, it is going to lean more towards having like good to okay grip than I would like call these great. And it could be like the change in pattern. Maybe it's because they use a different rubber compound, maybe a combination of both. I don't want it to come off like these are unplayable. Like, it's still a solid traction model, better grip than a lot of shoes out there, but it's not going to be like one of the highlights for this shoe, like I've kind of been calling it for the last few models. But to finish off with sizing, I did go true to size on these, and I'd say they run a little bit big. Like, you have some room left over at the end of your toes. And then as far as the width goes, these are pretty standard to maybe slightly running on the narrow side. But overall, I mean, I do have some mixed emotions about this new shoe. Like, I'm out on the look. Compared to the Jordan 36, I don't like these as much. And I mean, as far as like the performance goes, the traction, it did get a little bit worse. The support and the materials are still nice. That's pretty much always checking out on a Jordan line. Cushioning just plays a little bit different. Like, they're more stiff from the jump, but definitely more bouncy in the forefoot from what I've noticed. So are they worth $185? I mean, maybe. But the Jordan 36 is the same price. I'm probably sticking with those. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. Feel free to throw us a follow or a sub if you like this video. And if you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, just check out the link on screen, or we have links down below or in our bio. So feel free to check those out. But until next review, I'm Landon, Shoewear. Peace.